welcome to part 2. As you can see, different day, different location, because I did record part 2 yesterday. But as I was editing it, I was just way too distracted while I was recording it. And also, I don't like the back of my head. I don't like the front of it either. But I was like, I don't want to look at this, and I don't want anyone else to look at this either. So I'm starting off part 2 at me leaving Washington and trying to find or figure out healthcare. I was told that, this state got like good doctors and all of that stuff. But I guess it's not an area that I moved to. So I don't remember if I had said it in part 1, but the day that I left Washington, like August 4th, 2023, man, as soon as I stepped off that plane, when I tell you, it felt like I had just been wearing a weighted blanket for years, and that it just got taken off as soon as I stepped off the plane. That's what it felt like. Like just a real weight lifted off of my shoulders. I feel like I could just breathe a little bit better. And so as soon as I got here, I was like, all right, let me figure out like the basic stuff, find me see if they take my insurance, find a neurologist, all that. So I do my research and I call them and they're like, we're gonna take your insurance, $500. And I'm just like, just to like talk to somebody. And I was like, that's crazy. But fast forward, some time goes on, I end up just going with them anyway because I couldn't find anybody else that all of the research I was doing, everyone is real into like invasive procedures when it comes to that. Like people trying to take a chunk out my back and do this and that, and I'm like, nobody's touching me. All right, no, it's not how this works. It's not how this is gonna work anyway. So I'm actually glad that I had an outfit change so I could tell this part of the story, because I'm gonna give y'all a visual of what happened. So I go up in this neurologist place, and I will say I should have just waited a little bit longer and try to get an appointment with the neurologist that I wanted. But I was just like, yo, I'm trying to get in there soon, and if I just don't like this person, I'll switch to another one. You'll see why I didn't later on. I just want to find a total new one. So I walked up in there, and I had previously filled out all my information online when they're asking like your medical history and all that. Filled that out, and I try not to give too much detail, but enough, especially when it comes to anything I feel like might be related to my situation. So of course I go in there, and just a side note, usually I would have either my mom or one of my friends with me when I would go to doctor's appointments, just because they might help me remember stuff that I forgot to tell the doctor or whatever, or bring up. And now that I was in a new place, I was like, I don't necessarily have that option to just be like, hey, I'm in an appointment this day, like come with me. When I first get in there, I'm up on that little the bench thing with the little one ply toilet paper up there that they put. And I'm talking to dude, he's sitting in his chair. And mind you, I just told you I gave him my medical history. So he's looking through my medical history after I already done told him why I'm in here, this and that. He's like, so, about your other surgery. And he just starts asking me all types of questions about my vagina and my relationship history. And in my head, I'm just like, it's not what I'm here for. So I'm giving him very like short answers because I'm trying to like not be irritated, because I'm like, yo, this should be in and out. We stay on topic, homie. But then I've never had a doctor do this before. Like, in all my previous experience over the last even just like 3 years or so, 4 years, anytime a doctor is about to like ask to see like where I had the shingles, anything like that, first off, they ask permission before they touch me, or they ask me to just like show them myself. So once I get him to stay on topic about my back for the most part, I had previously mentioned that I slept wrong the night before. So even though it's my left side that normally hurts, right now I'm just too stiff. I got a crook in my neck. I slept wrong on the right side, but it's my left side that has some more intense pain. I don't know. I know I repeated that at least 3 times to him. And so he's like, oh, so yeah, your right side? And I'm just like, nigga, it's the whole thing, first off. But I was just letting you know, if I'm like wincing because of my right side, that's just today because I slept wrong. I realized by that point he's not listening. His mind is clearly on something else right now. And then what I've also never had a doctor do is sit up there with me on a thing. They usually ask you to turn, you stand up, do whatever, but he sat his ass up right next to me, just barely a piece of paper could get through, like right next to me. And I'm just like, this is getting even more weird. And when people start being weird to me or being inappropriate, like, I don't get uncomfortable. Like, I start to feel like the rage from deep within, and I'm just like, oh, okay, Teddy, you gotta just breathe and calm down, because like if you act or say how you want to right now, this is gonna be a different day for everybody, you and this whole office. And so he is looking like right here, because this is where the scars were, right? And so, like most doctors, he asked like what all the other stuff was, and I was like, nigga, you're not a dermatologist. Like, ask me all damn questions. Nigga, I pointed right here, nigga, stay on topic. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I was about to turn into Chris Tucker. I was like, Teddy, just stay calm, because I feel like once he looks on my back, he's gonna get off of here, get away from me, and be like, we're gonna discuss options and stuff. No. This fool, mind you, I had on the same kind of leggings. They were just, I think, like the black ones. He turns and he looks like this. And then he grabs my leggings, not even asking, and just pulls them out. Like, nah, I have to do it just because he pulls them out like this, looks down, and then just, and I was like, yo, what the fuck just happened? Now, if anybody in this real life did that to me, you might have got hit. Like, it's all the self-control and the restraint that I had to have in that moment. Like, listen, I'm in pain. I'm already on edge all the time. Like, why even mess with me? But people don't know. But I was just like, no, this motherfucker didn't. Like, was he trying to, like, sniff the air that came up? Like, I started thinking all types of stuff, because I was like, there's no way that he's acting like this right now. And so, in my mind, I'm like, yo, I need to get the hell out of here before I just start acting a little different and not how I should, even if they deserve it. So, I'm like, long story short, he prescribes some medication, and I leave. I set another appointment just to go through the whole process that we go through. But I had no intentions of ever going back in the office again, because I was like, hey, he got me all the way messed up if he thinks I won't swing next time. So obviously, do listen to your doctor if that's what you're being led to do. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, cool, you give me the medication, I'm going to try it to take it how you say to take it, at first. But long story short, it took me pretty much until I had gone through all of the medication to figure out how and when to take it for myself. And that's the one thing I'm like, hey, thanks, homie. You got me a cool little combination medications that helps take me from being in constant pain to where I can barely move or do anything to constant pain, but I can do some stuff some days, and some days I feel like pretty kind of okay. Like I have maybe just like kind of an average day of pain, and there's not any point in the day where I have to like stop what I'm doing, or it's like, okay, I've done too much today, now I can't do anything else. So it's helped in that sense. That being said, when it was time for a refill, thankfully I had gotten COVID and I couldn't go into the office. And so they're like, oh, we can do virtual. And I was like, cool, because even though I still didn't even want to talk to this dude or see his face again, I was like, at least we're not in the same room with each other, so you're safe. And so I get my refill. Fast forward to the next time I need a refill, and they're like, oh, we can't do virtual. And I didn't have COVID again, and I just am like, I'm okay lying to these people, but you know what, fine, I'll come in. And I was just like, and I had talked to a couple people, and I was like, and I don't know if someone else suggested this to me, but they're like, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just ask for someone else to be in the room. So I do that. First time I asked the lady at the front desk, and she's like, I mean, if there's enough staff, then yeah, someone can come back in the room with you. And I was like, okay. And then I get into the room with the nurse, and she's just doing a little checkup thing, and she's like, do you have any other questions before I go let them know you're ready? And I was like, yeah, can someone be in the room with us? And she was taken back, like I had just said something wild. And so she leaves the room, and then I hear all of them talking, and they're like, she wants somebody in the room. Does she need a translator? Why she need? And they're just going off. And so I was like, well, if I told the truth, honestly, I might be entertained by it. But then as soon as I thought that, I'm like, that means I shouldn't do it. If I'm about to be entertained by calling somebody out or just talking shit to somebody, I'm like, that's my sign to reevaluate and be like, all right, maybe don't do that. Because given this situation, I'm not gonna be kind about anything that I say, and I'm going off, and I might not even have my appointment happen. So, self-awareness is very helpful in situations like these. So they both come in the room, and she's just standing up against the wall like this, and I was just like, now I don't like any of you. And I really wanted to be like, hey, I wanted you in the room because he touched me and he was doing weird shit last time. And so I'm just like, and through the whole appointment, it wasn't more than like 10 minutes of us all being in that room. But that's kept being the one thing I wanted to say. Like, while you're standing there looking at me crazy, he probably should get fired. Like, but obviously, I'm chilling. I'm like, I just want my refill because in between all this time, I haven't been able to find a different neurologist. And so the appointment ends, and he says something along the lines of, you don't have to see me next time you come in to get a refill unless there's something else you need to discuss. And even his tone and saying that, I'm like, nigga, you know I want somebody else in the room, fucking weirdo. But excuse me for cussing. It's just y'all gotta know, like, this is what was going on, and I was trying to be so calm. If I leave, set another appointment, knowing that probably just not gonna come back. And he finally did what he said and gave me the right amount of refill, so I don't have to come back to you like every 2 months. I said all of that to say, try to bring someone with you. I will say my last time I had to go in, somebody did end up taking me to my appointment just in case. I was just like, yeah, let me bring a man with me just in case I got to be like, hey, come here real quick. But yeah, because when I was on the way to the appointment, I forgot to refer back to that, like always bring someone with you, especially if doctors are being weird or inappropriate. I didn't tell them how the doctor acted until like we were on the way, and I could see their face. They was looking at me like, what did the doctor do? And I was like, yeah. So that's why you finna be outside, right? Because that's been my doctor experience since I've been down here. But now that it's like, okay, I can like move and kind of like do more like low impact workouts and stuff. That's kind of helped me to be able to trust my body to do a little bit more. But also, I know that the medication is just masking the pain that's actually happening. And so if I don't take it, I'm gonna be messed up. And if I'm taking it, but I'm still doing too much and getting too active, because I'm like, ooh, I feel good these last couple of days. I didn't be doing whatever, just acting like my body is just like back to 100% again. And then those are usually the times where I'll be messed up and I get a flare up because I was too active, playing around with my knees, rolling around on the ground, knowing I'm gonna feel that later. But so there's that part. Like I still experience extreme like fatigue and just being exhausted a lot of times, because it's like I be still, when I feel good, I'm like, hey, it's time for me to do something. It's been helpful to be able to move a little bit more, but I still have to pace myself. And it's like a daily thing, because I don't ever have the same day twice, it seems like. This is why when you hear me talk about advocating for yourself, another thing was I felt like physical therapy was very helpful for me. And so that's one of the things I asked him about in my first at my first appointment. He looked at me like I had 3 heads. I was like, I just wanted to know if you could recommend a physical therapist to me. Y'all got someone connected to you that you send people to, like. And I'm just like, anytime I tell a doctor, this is what's worked for me, this is what didn't work, like whatever's worked for me, they're like, scratch that. Like I don't think that's helpful. And I'm like, all right. So immediately, like I'm just like, all right, this is gonna be a limited interaction. I'm not really telling you no more details because I think that you're an idiot and you should try another profession. Oh, I will have my ebook link below, because I talk about a lot about advocating for yourself and just dealing with doctors and dealing with life in between dealing with doctors. And a lot about just the kind of boundaries that you end up having to set. Like the boundaries that you end up having to set, especially when like if your pain is something that like debilitates you from like moving or driving or working, or just or you have to change pretty much your whole life. So being around people or just getting up and going and just doing stuff, it's like everything changes. Not fun. I understand like all of the anger and sadness and depression that people talk about, which is why a lot of the medications that people in my position get on, they treat like depression and all that. But yeah, so definitely I would say to be careful and research the things that your doctor tells you first, even if it's just like a couple of Google searches, go past the first page, do whatever you gotta do. But if something is not working for you, you need to address that so they can adjust their treatment for you, or you can find another doctor. Because yeah, like I said before, a lot of doctors, they're just gonna take your appointment, like keep prescribing you, like, oh, that didn't work, try this. That didn't work, try this, and just give you a bunch of pills and possibly mess you up even more. But yeah. Oh, this is the heating pad I was talking about. Before I got the heated mattress pad, this is my second one that I've had over the last 4 years, because the other one I started like traveling places with it, and I was just like, I don't know, I just never felt like I could clean it good enough. So I was like, let me just go get a new one. But it's got like, this gets hot, and I used to sleep on it on like a 3. Yeah, I mean, helpful for the pain, but I don't live in Washington anymore, so the highest it goes on a 3 on certain days if I'm just in too much pain. I'm thinking that in my next video, I will go a bit more into kind of, I will read you what I have on my notes, listing symptoms like physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, like the anger, the isolation, boundaries, dealing with knowing when to rest, doing your own research, healing through your environment, different connections and hobbies and such. Yeah, so all of that, a lot of that is in my ebook, but I do want to, go even deeper than I did in that. So yeah, you can go ahead and like and subscribe so I can pop back up on your feed with some, I was gonna say, more of my nonsense. Well, maybe for some of you, because you might not be dealing with any of this kind of stuff, but maybe for some reason I'm entertaining to you. I don't know what to even say after that sentence. So I'm gonna end this video. Thank you for watching. Oh, that's what I'll say. I mean, I'm a coach. So if you are dealing with any of these things and want like a one-on-one, a walkthrough of the ebook, anything like that, if you purchase the ebook and then decide that you want a one-on-one, there'll definitely be a discount for your session. I will leave the link to the ebook, the intake form if you would like a session, and my email if you have any questions that you don't want to leave down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all soon.